Now, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to get the program underway first and foremost with a video that seeks to answer 3 quintessential questions on SecondSTAX. Of course, we need to know who they are, where they are coming from, what it is they have for us, and how whatever it is they have for us is going to bridge the gap across the African continent with respect to investment. So, ladies and gentlemen, all of us gathered here for the next 10 minutes, and with a round of applause, let us have a look at the SecondSTAX story.
My name is Duke Latte. By way of background, I've been in the financial services sector for quite a while, close to 2 decades, with strong focus in IT and delivering information systems. SecondSTAX is something that Eugene and I settled on when we were discussing what we could do in the financial services sector. We both had interesting backgrounds as far as IT was concerned, as far as finance was concerned. And as we're deliberating, the capital markets naturally tended to be something that we found intriguing. There was a need to be able to drive innovation and change the way the market dynamic was. And to that end, we settled on having a system or a portal which would allow investment firms and the like be able to do what they already do now, but do it in a faster, quicker pace. We needed something that, of course, those who were in the investment space, those who were in the capital market space could really latch onto. So fragmentation is really the problem we are solving, right? You look at other regional blocks and it's one region you trade in. But when you come to Africa, you have various countries, each with disparate regulations and nuances within their markets. What we are doing is providing a single platform through which you can trade across the continent, right? So, and as we do this by routing trades to the respective exchanges and then providing feedback to participants who are using our system.
So if I'm sitting in Accra today, and as you know, there is an MTN IPO happening in Lagos, it is very hard for me to tap into that. I know MTN is growing. I want to be part of that success story. Nigeria is a very huge market, but today my only option will be to call my broker, who will also pick up his phone, call somebody else, and then try to get me that allocation. With SecondSTAX, we are effectively trying to bridge that gap, use technology to really solve that problem, as if you were directly in that Lagos market yourself. So SecondSTAX is a technology company that is focused on the investment management process. Our clients, the broker dealers, the asset managers, the banks that have investment arms are in need of technology, are in need of modern systems that help them and their processes to continue to be efficient. So we see ourselves as the go-to company that has our systems being used to really drive growth in the capital market space. These institutions are the gatekeepers of the capital markets across the continent. They have a lot of the assets already that they are managing for themselves and their clients, and they understand the complexity of these markets. So building technology for them serves as an enabler for them to really tap into all of these markets collectively. So at SecondSTAX, we have 3 main divisions. Technology, which is our largest group, is focused on the platform itself, things around data and analytics, and the views that our users have to interact with the system.
We also have an ops team. This comprises individuals that are really seasoned. They have many years under their belt as far as the capital market is concerned, and as far as banking, as well banking services and financial services is concerned.
Then we also have a finance function that cuts across all of these departments. It's focused on keeping our books and records, interfacing to our auditors, and also making sure our strategy in terms of growth and expansion is very well serviced in terms of how our capital is being deployed.
We also have an advisory board. Now this comprises individuals that again are seasoned. We have someone that's very well known in the private equity venture capital space. There's also someone that's well known in the financial services sector. And then we have one that is well known as far as corporate advisory services is concerned.
So today we are launching our product, the key trading platform across Ghana and Kenya. We want you to interact with it through your broker. So call your broker, ask them about how you can participate in other capital markets outside of your local economy. Get more information about SecondSTAX, the company, through our website, SecondSTAX.com. Find us on LinkedIn if you search for SecondSTAX, and on Twitter as well.
We'd like to continue with our program lineup and take a look at the SecondSTAX trading portal and how it will work for all of us who would be on the SecondSTAX platform. So ladies and gentlemen, for the next 2 minutes, again, your indulgence, your minds, and of course your intellect on your various screens to take a look at the SecondSTAX trading portal.
At SecondSTAX, we are focused on investment firms that invest in African capital markets. We pride ourselves on putting accessible cross-border trading at the fingertips of investment firms. Investment firms can buy and sell securities at the click of a button with our streamlined smart order management and execution routing system. Institutions can easily invest in stocks and bonds across multiple African exchanges from a single portal and gateway. This is the trading portal. The watch list section provides access to information about companies that are listed on exchanges that we are connected to. Let's say I want to trade in MTN Ghana shares. I can simply search for the company in the watch list panel, and I am automatically shown its performance for the last month in the snapshot section. In the buy and sell section, I can go ahead and make my trade request. I want a market order for 10,000 shares, so I will enter that and review my order to see how much I am going to pay in commission and taxes. I also have the option of viewing this in multiple currencies. Once everything checks out, I can go ahead and complete the buy request. In addition to these features, the trading portal also has the trading blotter, which is a detailed record of your trading activity and history.
This is SecondSTAX, the mavericks of our industry, focused on investment firms that invest in African capital markets.
Again, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. A round of applause, a round of applause, a round of applause. Now, I'd say this, I do hope that you're paying real close attention to every information that is being shared, because as the program wears on, there's going to be a quiz for which all of us here are supposed to or are encouraged to be participants. There's going to be a very, very short quiz, so make sure that everything that is being said, everything that is being shared, you're taking down points and then you are seriously disseminating the information that is being given. Of course, we remember the websites that we logged onto, the www.menti.com. Do we? Do we remember? I'm not hearing response. Do we remember? Honestly, good. That will come full circle very, very soon. We'd like to take a goodwill message, of course, from the managing director of the Ghana Stock Exchange, Mr. Akowafezi, who is widely known within the Ghanaian finance industry as the man who strategically led on projects that have positively impacted securities trading in Ghana. He is currently the MD of the Ghana Stock Exchange and a member of the Council of the Exchange. He has over 28 years of experience in the stock market, and he is notable for spearheading the automation of the trading, clearing, and settlement functions of the GSE. Mr. Afedi is a member of the Executive Committee of the African Securities Exchange Association, which is the ASEA, the Governing Council of the Ghana Securities Industry Association, the Governing Committee of the Ghana Fixed Income Market, and the Ghana Alternative Market. Ladies and gentlemen, with a resounding round of applause for Mr. Eko Afedi as he takes the podium. SecondSTAX.
Good morning to everyone. And let me say that Pakwesi decided to cut down my age by 4 years. I've done 32 years in the capital market in Ghana, but not 28. So thank you for giving me more years before I go on retirement. Let me say a big hello to my colleagues in Nairobi, Jeffrey and the team. We've been working closely together for many years now, especially when it comes to integration of African markets generally and trading across markets. I hope SEC is here, the head of broker dealers and advisors, executives of Capital Markets Authority of Kenya, co-founders of SecondSTAX, Eugene and Duke, executives of Data Bank. Anybody from Data Bank here? They're here. I can see Enyunam, the Gadu, former council member of GSE, management and staff of GSE, invited guests, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. Let me first of all say that I'd like to commend SecondSTAX and their partners for this laudable initiative to launch an innovative digital tool, SecondSTAX trading portal, to foster cross-border trading in the capital markets across selected African markets. As I watched this clip, I realized how simple it is, and I believe that will go very far with investors across Africa, because you made it very easy to be used, and I'm sure it's also very friendly. This innovative portal could not have come at a better time, especially when technology is being leveraged to develop many industries across the global space, especially capital markets. Stock markets are using technology to take the market to the doorstep of the investor. They are also using that to provide information on time and speedily, and also making sure that issuers provide a lot of information to investors for investors to take decisions. So it's coming at the right time. The launch of SecondSTAX portal today is in line with GSE's own strategy in our 3-year strategic plan in terms of technology or digitalization, to invest in technology by partnering fintechs, licensed dealing brokers, and other partners to develop innovative tools to bring more convenience and speed to investors with regard to trading on the exchange, whether locally or across borders. Tapping into the sub-regional opportunities to expand our market is also a high priority. We've embarked on integration of West African capital markets for a very long time. Maybe launching of SecondSTAX today will facilitate that process, and it will quickly come into fruition so that we can have trades across West Africa, especially between Ghana and Nigeria. I know you're starting with Nairobi, but then you'll get to Nigeria also very soon. This trading tool is one of the outcomes of our regional integration efforts, which we seek to achieve, getting retail and institutional investors to be able to trade across borders using the stockbrokers or through the stockbrokers. In other words, what we seek to do as part of our integration is to enable brokers to trade across West Africa without necessarily going through other brokers, and also that will enable investors to also have a wide array of assets to invest in across West Africa and Africa. Then we'll also be able to do IPOs across West Africa once we have such tools. So we are excited as GSE to have SecondSTAX to launch, or to have SecondSTAX launch this cross-border trading portal today. Starting with Ghana and Nigeria, Ghana and Kenya, then also plans to roll out to Nigeria and other countries. It is refreshing to note that SecondSTAX portal will enable investment firms to buy and sell securities at the click of a button, which we saw, with their streamlined smart order management and execution routing system. The launch is coming at the back of other innovative digital portals which we have launched in recent times, and we are hoping this will add to the development of the market, especially providing liquidity on our markets, which is a huge challenge. Most African markets have problems with liquidity. Liquidity is always below like 10% in most markets, and we are hoping this portal will facilitate that issue where we have illiquidity on our markets, where we'll now have liquidity improve because of the fact that now you can trade shares and bonds, especially shares across West Africa, across Africa, and also you'll be able to sit in your home and do that very comfortably. Let me conclude by commending SecondSTAX for this initiative, and then we would like to encourage others and other brokerage firms and players in the industry to emulate this innovation and develop more innovative tools to support the development of the capital market. I cannot end without talking about the exchange itself. The exchange is part of the global economy. So naturally, when you have the global economy facing challenges, you normally will have that reflected on markets. So you take Ghana Stock Exchange, our index is in the negative zone. As we speak, it's -12. But on the other side of it, we've had the highest value of trades ever traded in our history, thanks to MTN doing some localization on the market. So we traded about 1.4 billion worth of shares. Don't try and convert it to dollars at this time, because this was done about 6 months ago. So use the rate at that time. Don't use the current rate. So that is it for equities. The bond market is also doing quite well. We've done about 10% higher than last year. We've done 211 billion cedis worth of bonds traded on the market, which is about 6-7% higher than that of last year. So on the whole, we've had a mixed performance, but we are not relenting in our efforts to improve the market as we move along. So we are developing new products, which some of you will see very soon. Very soon we'll be launching some other new products on the market. Yesterday we launched ESG rules. So we are gradually preparing the market when the economy picks up, and we are likely to see more liquidity and more issuers also get onto this market. So everybody gathered here, I thank you for your attention, and also those in Nairobi who are my friends. Let's all wish SecondSTAX team all the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Eko Afedi, for that look into the Ghana Stock Exchange and its partnership with the Nairobi Security Exchange, as well as, of course, SecondSTAX, for which we are here. Just as we've heard from the managing director of the Ghana Stock Exchange, we also like to travel to Nairobi and listen to the chief executive officer of Nairobi Securities Exchange, Mr. Jeffrey Odundu, who has been a proficient investment banker for over 3 decades. He is a member also of the Central Bank Consolidative Forum for Domestic Debt Market, CFDDM, a member of the Working Committee of the World Federation of Exchanges, WFE, a council member of the Institute of Certified Investment Financial Analysts, ICIFA, and the vice chairman of the REITs Association of Kenya, which is RAK. Likewise, his impact is felt across the continent through his service as a board member of the Africa Securities Exchange Association, ASEA, as a member of the Thomson Reuters Africa Customer Advisory Network, and as the director of the East African Securities Exchange Association. Ladies and gentlemen, live from Nairobi, Kenya, with a round of applause, Mr. Jeffrey Odundu, the Chief Executive Officer of Nairobi Securities Exchange.
Good afternoon. My name is Jeffrey Odundo. I'm the Chief Executive of the Nairobi Securities Exchange. I'm very delighted to welcome you to the NSE Marketplace, which is the new trading floor of the Nairobi Securities Exchange. So today we are witnessing the launch of the connectivity platform between SecondSTAX and the Kestrel Capital stockbrokers, which is one of our leading investment banks in Kenya. Now the NSE is very, very supportive of linkages initiatives. One, because we believe that we must deepen trading within Africa. We must facilitate a lot of cross-border trading. We must make our markets across our various jurisdictions more liquid. And riding on the back of that, is very important that technology helps deliver this initiative. So the launch between and the partnership between SecondSTAX and Kestrel Capital really makes it a very, very big achievement for this market. Now, we're happy to learn about what the SecondSTAX has done in various jurisdictions. The ability to work with markets across Africa, starting from Nigeria and very soon into the rest of West Africa, and really picking Kenya as their first sub-Saharan jurisdiction to drive this process within this platform. Now, linking markets is a very, very important agenda for us. We are pioneers into the Africa Exchanges Linkage Project, which is a platform that we intend to use to connect the 10 pilot exchanges initially, and ultimately the rest of all the capital markets. So this bilateral connectivity between SecondSTAX, providing that ability to connect Kestrel Capital to Ghana, is really a complementary approach, because we will have to use brokers to broker relationships in order to achieve the success of the linkage project. So we're really happy with this complementary approach. Even more delighted that it's happening way ahead of our launch of the linkage project. So it will basically be a very good step as we proceed to that level. We look forward to a lot of other solutions that we'll be able to lever on, and we look forward to SecondSTAX also seeing how they can help the Kenyan market even scale up using their own technology solutions. So we're very happy with these partnerships. We're very happy and really, really delighted that we're going to be able to see the first direct trading happening between our two brokers, and really going to be a very good case study for the rest of the market to follow through. So on behalf of the Nairobi Securities Exchange, the board and management, I'd like to thank the SecondSTAX for really coming and being part of this. I'd like to congratulate Kestrel for taking the leap of faith in making this happen, and really thank the technology teams from the respective firms and the exchange for really making this achievement happen. And finally, thank the CMA for making sure that all the regulatory approvals were granted to allow this to happen. So with that, I think we'll see more liquidity, we're going to see more cross-border trading, and possibly more cross-border listings, and ultimately really have Africa trading with Africa. So really happy to that, and I wish you all a great day during this launch. Thank you.
A round of applause to Mr. Jeffrey Odundo, the CEO of the NSE. Asante sana, Mr. Odundo. Still, my confidence and the bravery with which I speak Kenyan Swahili is building, and I'm hoping that the next time I find myself in Kenya, I'd be one of them fluently. Ladies, gentlemen, we've had a very comprehensive look into the SecondSTAX trading platform. We've seen the story of where they are coming from, what they are offering the people of Africa, and of course, how they are going to build the African market with respect to investment, the financial, and then the banking sectors as well. But now we would like to take 10 minutes and get a practical demonstration of how the SecondSTAX platform works. And to help this activity here in Accra, we are going to be handed over to Mr. Ebogezi from DataBank, and all the way in Nairobi is going to be Madam or Miss Sophie Injao. I hope I get the name right. Miss Sophie Injao from Kestrel. So Mr. Ebogezi from DataBank and Sophie Injao from Kestrel.
Okay, thank you, MC. So as a trader at DataBank Limited, if I want to buy shares in the Kenya market, I just have to log in with my credentials and then to the portal. Then I look at the market watch lists. I want to buy Safaricom shares in Kenya. I just get the symbol, which is ESCOM. You type it here on the market watch, and then you go there, you click on it. After that, you go to the buy button. You click on it. You want to buy at 25 Kenyan shillings, just 100 shares. You preview the order just to make sure that whatever is captured is correct. Then you hit on the buy button. Now, from the menu, you can see that I've been able to execute 100 shares of Safaricom in the Kenya market. I'll pause here for my partner broker in Kenya to confirm that the order that I placed has really reached or reflected in the Kenya market. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so I'll take over from here. I'll show you the trade that has been executed from Ghana. As you can see from the bloater, the shares have been traded. It's 100 Safaricom shares at 25 shillings. So that's our order, and it's successfully been filled. Thank you. So I'll take you over through trading through the SSX, and we want to buy stocks from Ghana. So this is what we'll do. Just a second. Okay, so the counter that we want to trade is CalBank, CAL. We'll select the counter. Then we'll click on buy. I want to buy 100 shares. The limit price is 0.8, so I'll put in the quantity 100 shares. I click on the review order to see what we have placed. We can see the quantity, the levies that are being charged. I'll click on the buy button, and then it says the order has been placed successfully. When I scroll down, it shows the order has been filled. So I'll hand it over to the Ghana side so that they can be able to show us on their end how the trade has been executed. Thank you.
Thank you, Sophie. Yeah, so as you can see, the last traded volume is 100 shares from the GSC trading terminal, and you can see that when you come to the executed orders, we have 100 shares executed at 11:40 a.m. So clearly, the order that was captured by Kestrel in the Kenya market really hits in our GSC market. Thank you.
All right. Another round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for Sophie and Ebogezi for the demonstration of how the SecondSTAX platform works by giving us a live demonstration of how the trading on this platform is going to be like. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the official launch of the SecondSTAX trading platform. Now, we are going back, we are circling around to the websites that we opened at the beginning of the meeting. We remember. So please take your phones once again. Please take your phones once again. If you haven't already opened, go to your browser on your phone and open www.menti.com. Menti.com is spelled MENTI. www.menti.com. MENTI. All right. We will have a code. If you're already on the site, are we on the site? Input the code 7523 3641. 7523 3641. Now, the first question we have for the poll is, which of the following best describes your current occupation? And we are seeing participants, and the various disciplines are changing. Business and finance is in the lead so far. Sales and marketing is really struggling. I'm guessing they are the Manchester United of the disciplines. Technology is also climbing. www.menti.com 7523 3641. All right, our next question. What's the first word that comes to mind when you hear SecondSTAX? We have a rather interesting response. Sikapi. The P is plenty, Dodo, because now we know Sikampe Dede. Sikapi. We are seeing stocks, we are seeing cross-border trading, money, finance, trade, Pan-African, which, yes, of course, is true. Opportunity. Disruptive. That's interesting. And finally, how would you describe the live trading demo? How would you describe the live trading demo? Educative, comprehensive, so cool. Somebody just dropped the fire emoji. Yes, we're in the 21st century, so we do a lot of our communication with emojis. We have practical, we have smooth, and of course, the SecondSTAX team is here, and then they are seeing all this response. I'm guessing it's very encouraging for them that the live demonstration is seen as insightful, well executed, mind blowing, and all the other adjectives that have been in accordance and accompaniment with the live demonstration of the trading platform. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Put your hands together for yourselves. Put your hands together for yourselves. This tells us that after today, we would be fully engrossed in the SecondSTAX platform, and they will become part of our daily lives. Yes, we'll get back to the questions and answers. We'll get to the quiz. So the code and the platforms that we were just on, we just visited, will come back full circle into our lineup of activities. Ladies and gentlemen, here in Accra and of course in Nairobi, Kenya, we would like to continue with our program lineup to give us a look into the news and research portal of the SecondSTAX trading platform. So for the next 2 minutes, again, your eyes, your ear, uninterrupted attention on the screens for the brief overview of the news and research portal of the SecondSTAX trading platform.
I'm excited to introduce you to SecondSTAX news, research, and data portal. This unique platform allows investment firms to get all the latest trading news, trends, data, and information from reliable local expert sources. The news section can be filtered either by country or by media outlet. The market data section contains rich information about market movers, forex rates, commodities, African indices, as well as global indices. The research portal houses continental insights and research data from our reliable and trusted partners. Want to view fixed income runs or market snapshots? Go ahead. and select either the option to view or download any of the historical data that we have made available on our platform. At SecondSTAX, we pride ourselves on putting accessible cross-border trading information at the fingertips of investment firms.
Thank you very much. A round of applause once again, ladies and gentlemen. A brief look into the news and research portal of the SecondSTAX platform, which of course has been comprehensive and educative. We also like to take a word from our regulators, and differently what we are doing this time around is to head to Nairobi first before we come to our neck of the woods here in Accra. And we'd like to take a word or two from the Chief Executive Officer of the Capital Markets Authority, Mr. Wycliffe Shamia, who has had an admirable career in the finance industry and has worked at CMA for more than 23 years, having held various positions in research, compliance, market supervision, and financial analysis. Mr. Shamia's core mandate as the CEO of the CMA largely revolves around maintaining regulations and preserving the authority's hard-won reputation. His leadership has ushered in the securities lending and borrowing platform, which granted listed firms the opportunity to hold virtual AGMs and increase participants to the CMA sandbox, some of which are Belrum Kenya and PYYPL Group Limited. With a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Wycliffe Shamia, CEO of Capital Markets Authority in Nairobi, Kenya.
Frudundo, CEO Kestre Capital, Mr. Francis Mwangi, CEO Securities and Exchanges Commission of Ghana, representatives, executives from DataBank and SecondSTAX, invited guests, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed, good afternoon. I'm pleased to join you this afternoon at this important event to launch Kestre Capital's order management platform implemented jointly with DataBank Progress Limited of Ghana and their technology partner SecondSTAX. Let me start by congratulating the two partners on this very important achievement. It has indeed been a long journey that has involved integration of several systems as well as regulatory review conducted by the regulators in the year. It is encouraging to note that the two players both established market intermediaries in their respective countries, working together with SecondSTAX, have leveraged their expertise and experience to expand their product offering beyond their national borders. Securities markets infrastructure are critical components of domestic and international financial markets, being channels that facilitate flow of capital from where it is available to where it is needed. They are vital in enabling the exchange of financial assets and movement of liquidity across markets. Today, I think we achieve a major milestone because we never knew it is possible in a strike of a second to have a transaction done between parties separated by a long distance as we've just seen a few minutes ago. It is my joy that at least we are making available even a much wider basket of assets for our participants within the markets, and I believe it goes beyond the two jurisdictions. Just as we speak about West Africa, I think coming through Nairobi, you have access to the entire East Africa. And I think this is something that we must celebrate because it just adds to the many successes that we have had. As we do this, I think as regulators, our caution is let us assess the risks which we bring across so that we maintain stability within our financial markets. Once again, I just want to thank all the parties involved and wish us a good launch today. And hopefully we will see increased activities, increased successes within our markets with what we are doing today. Thank you so much and God bless.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Wycliffe Shamia. Asante sana to you as well for that concise speech for the SecondSTAX team, for the Nairobi Securities Exchange, and of course, the Ghana Stock Exchange. Ladies and gentlemen, still on the messages, as partners to the SecondSTAX team, we would like to take a word from the data bank representative, who is in the person of Mr. Ama Akote, the Associate Director at Data Bank Limited. His role makes him responsible for the development and execution of Data Bank's strategic plans and projects. As an authorized dealing officer of the Ghana Stock Exchange, Mr. Akote holds a dealer's representative's license of the Securities and Exchange Commission of Ghana. More so, he is a professional Chartered Institute of Bankers right here in Ghana. With a resounding round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ama Akote, Associate Director at Data Bank.
Greetings from Data Bank, one of the partners of SecondSTAX in Ghana, which actually helped them implement the technology that they seek to use to integrate African markets from our local market, the Ghana Stock Exchange. We view the SecondSTAX platform and its implementation as one of the development cycles that African exchanges will go through. Indeed, in the last 2 decades, we've seen many markets on the African exchange evolve, changing regulations, using technology to open up their markets and improve access to their markets. However, if you consider the needs of an investor trying to diversify across all these markets, it becomes quite challenging trying to do so from one location. In many instances, you would have to navigate each market over a period of time. That was the experience that Data Bank went through, having to diversify access to these markets with the capital that its clients had. Over a period of 10 years, we were only able to access 14 markets by visiting each and every one of them to establish relationships to be able to help our clients access opportunities in this market. Could this have been done in a shorter period of time? That is what we see the SecondSTAX platform offering an investor who tries to access these markets. And indeed, what this platform proposes is ease of access to these markets because it already integrates them. Secondly, you can actually have control over your investment decisions across these markets because it puts the control in your hands. We at Data Bank actually feel very proud to be associated with this solution because we believe that it wouldn't just only solve our challenges navigating African markets, but we believe that the sort of challenges that we experience trying to diversify assets across the African market can now be taken globally to access other markets, which we feel that technology can actually be use to do so. And we believe that the SecondSTAX platform has the capability of actually going beyond the African continent to help an investor diversify their assets across the globe. Thank you.
Applause. Thank you very much, Mr. Ama Akote. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for DataBank for partnering with the SecondSTAX team. A round of applause for DataBank. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, very soon, all the education and all the knowledge we have gathered here will come full circle at the quiz that will be taken very, very soon. But before that, we want to travel once again to Nairobi, Kenya, and listen to one of the partners of this product launch, Kestrel Capital, who is going to speak to us. Mr. Francis Imwagi, the CEO and Executive Director, is going to address us shortly. He joined Kestrel Capital in 2018 as an Associate Director, and by October of that same year, was appointed the CEO and Executive Director of the company. He has over 12 years experience in investment and financial advisory. Mr. Imwagi has had the opportunity to expertly advise local and foreign investors on sustainable investment prospects in East Africa. In addition to that, he has been instrumental in structuring major transactions within his region. He is also a fellow chartered certified accountant, ACCA, from England and Wales. With a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, CEO and Executive Director of Kestrel Capital, Mr. Francis Imwagi.
Thank you. The CMA, the CEO of CMA, Mr. Wycliffe Shamia, the CEO of the NSE, Mr. Jeffrey Odundo, representatives and CEOs of the GSE and the SEC in Ghana. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Okay, so it gives me great pleasure to be here, standing here today, looking at Eugene and Benjamin, the two good friends from SecondSTAX. I don't know whether it's by design or it just happened. I was introduced to them in November of 2019, so 3 years ago. So it has taken us about 3 years to this moment. And I believe, as you've seen from the presentations in terms of the demonstration, from what the system can do, from the research side of things, is that there's a lot of work that has gone into it, and there's still more work that needs to go into it. The connection currently is with Kenya and Ghana, and I know we still all remain ambitious to connect the many African markets together and make it easier for clients. So why did Kestrel Capital, when we were introduced to SecondSTAX, think that this was a great idea? So it went back to what, as a business, we have seen from our clients over the many number of years, is that our clients continuously demand for access and options to many investment options. So sitting down and listening to our clients, when SecondSTAX came knocking, we thought this will be an excellent idea for us to partner so as to provide our clients access to multiple markets. And we have seen gradual interest from the investors. And as I do believe here in Kenya, also Ghana is experiencing interest from clients who are looking to access markets not only in Africa, but across the world, because technology now is starting to enable that. And why is this access important? So the other key thing is that the more options we give our clients, we find it allows all investors, irrespective of their current financial circumstance, to be able to invest. And that becomes very important because it allows these investors with multiple options to pursue their own financial goals and their own aspirations. So these access options, we believe, adds to all investors having an opportunity to pursue their own aspirations. So the other key thing was beyond access. As a business, we thought, so if investors are continuously asking us for this, how do we deliver it to them? So we had two options. One was to build technology on our own and then go knocking in other places and other markets and other jurisdictions and introduce ourselves. We thought that will be a long process. So to us, collaboration was the only way to proceed. So it's demand from investors, and then looking for collaboration and partners like SecondSTAX that we believe that we can work together with, and we can build something that is seamless for investors. So that was the other key reason why Kestrel and SecondSTAX and DataBank came together to allow for SecondSTAX to operate across the African markets. Lastly, I think I've spoken about access. In this day of information, our investors who are demanding access also have a lot of information at their fingertips. So the third thing that we did was look and internally try and question what opportunity are we offering in terms of access to investors. So we spent a bit of time to look at if we are encouraging investors who have access to developed markets, because today you can also trade the US market or the European market fairly easily. So what is the proposition to the investor of trading the African market? So we looked at information. We love information. So we looked at it, and what the information told us is that for the last 20 years, like despite the American market having pretty much dominated the investment space in the last 10 years, if I had invested in 2002, and I'm using the MSCI indices, if I had invested in 2002, where would my money have generated the highest annual return per annum? It's in Africa. Yeah. So more so than frontier markets, more so than emerging frontier markets, and more so than a global index that one would have invested in. Investing in the African markets would have generated a higher return. Yeah. So it was fairly easy for us. So access, collaboration, and returns for investors. And these returns I'm talking about are in dollars. Because again, we all know now, everything now is in dollars. And investors know that everything is in dollars right now. So it gives myself, the Kestrel team, great delight that we've journeyed this for 3 years. It's not lost to us that there's a lot more work to do. But what I also strongly believe is that the collaboration with SecondSTAX, DataBank, the NSE, the CMA, the GSE, and the SEC in Ghana will be replicated across other African markets. And that tells me this is just the beginning. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Francis Mwagi. Thank you very much. I'd like to hit on the fact that Mr. Francis Mwagi mentioned collaboration, and we know and we hope that the collaboration between SecondSTAX, DataBank, the GSE, the NSE, Kestrel, CMA, and SEC will continue not just after this meeting, but will continue for many, many, many decades to come. Now, we are seeing that some questions are already popping up, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, be noting your questions. Very soon, we will have a segment solely dedicated for questions and answers, as well as the quiz, after which we will hear from the SecondSTAX Chief Operating Officer. So once again, please take out your phones. Please take out your phones. For those of us who are online, we can see that the link for the quiz has been posted in the chat box, www.menti.com. www.menti.com, MENTI. Enter the code 3104. First question. Can we get the code? Enter the code you can see displayed on your screen, 3104098. And this quiz is fast fingers. Fast fingers. So the person, not just the right answer, but the first person who gives the right answer. Code once again is 3104098. Question number 1 coming up. Question number 1 coming up. Answer fast to get more points. So it's not just the right answer, but the fast answer. How many securities exchanges are currently connected to SecondSTAX? No copy, no. Time's up. Let's see. Okay. So we can see displayed there. The correct answer is 2. And 53 got it right. we will get the results of the one who came in first place. Question number 2. Fast fingers again. Fast fingers. SecondSTAX is connected to the following exchanges except Ghana Stock Exchange, Nairobi Securities Exchange, JBEG Stock Exchange, JSE. Fast fingers. Let's see. 3, 2, 1. Time's up. Now let's see the answers. Okay, so we have 59 of 61 respondents giving us the correct answer of JSE. Thank you very much. Next question. Fast fingers still. Fast fingers is the motif for this quiz. Where can investment firms get the latest trading news and information from reliable local expert sources? SecondSTAX website, order and execution management portal, operations workflow portal, news, research, and data portal. 5, 4, 3, 2. Time's up. Okay. The correct answer, of course, is news, research, and data portal. Interesting distribution. All right, next question, ladies and gentlemen. SecondSTAX provides B2B securities trading infrastructure to investment firms only. True or false? True or false? 3, 2, 1. The answer, of course, is true. So congratulations to all those who said true, and congratulations still to those who said false. Question 5, the final question. Where on the trading portal can one see a detailed record of one's trading activity and history? We have the trading blotter, the watch list, the snapshots, or the financials. Where on the trading portal can one see a detailed record of one's trading activity and history? 3, 2, 1. Time's up. So, of course, the correct answer is the trading blotter. Again, we have good numbers for the other options. Ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the end of the quiz, and I'm sure on your screens you can see the results displayed. Daniel, the Baker, and Daniel O. They came in. Congratulations to the Baker and Daniel O. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause. But still, with the applause, a round of applause to all the participants who took part in the quiz. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause. Thank you very much. Now, as we were seeing the questions coming in, trooping in from, I'm sure, from Nairobi and from Accra, we will have 10 minutes dedicated to the question and answer segment right after we take a word from the Chief Operating Officer of SecondSTAX, Mr. Duclate. So with a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome Mr. Duclate to the podium.
SEC, the CMA, representatives from partner institutions, the media, ladies and gentlemen, all of you present here at the GSE, at the NSC, and online with us. Stay with me as I highlight a few items worthy of note. So in 2018 really is when the story began. Eugene and I were discussing, we're sharing ideas on how we can solve problems that was plaguing the continent. That same year, if you quite remember, MTN Ghana was doing an IPO. They had an offering. And we followed this keenly. We had interesting discussions with friends and colleagues in investment firms, and we were really hoping for stellar performance. And then at the end of it, the CSD notified us all that they had only been able to reach 32.3% of their total offerings. They have been able to raise just that. Now you can imagine us who were cheering this on and wondering, wow, how could this have happened? Yes, indeed, the fragmented capital markets the fragmented African capital markets had fought and won against such a noble and worthy cause. Now, in 2019, we came across some additional numbers. 90 billion US dollars and 250 billion US dollars. These, according to PwC, were the total raised in equity and debt across the entire continent. Now, really, if in our fragmented states, this was what we could achieve. Now we're wondering if the borders were erased, what could be possible in Africa? And really today, as you're listening to the various speakers, I'm sure you are realizing that indeed everybody is stating and agreeing that if we could achieve this, the sky would be the limit. In 2020, we finally incorporated and started assembling a team of staff, a team of advisors, a team of investors. Indeed, we even had cheerleaders on, those in the regulating space who had hoped and dreamed of such an event and an occurrence. And they were all excited that, look, something was beginning to start. Now, 2020, if you would bear with me, was a very tough year to start a business. Really, some would say it was the worst of times. But then again, we chose to look at the opportunities that the pandemic availed. And really what it afforded us is the opportunity for the staff to spend time not traveling to work, but really refining our system, using our CI/CD approach, always optimizing and ensuring that we are iterating and presenting the system to the stakeholders early enough for them to review and give us feedback. Really, the fact that we are here today attests to the fact that staff have done their bit, investors have done their bit. And as co-founders Eugene and I have also been excited watching this happen. Now, in the time in which we were building the system, we noticed that the continent as a whole was also leaning more towards integrations. If you quite remember, the WACMAC that was held earlier this year was dominated by talks of integrations for the member countries as well as for regional blocs. UNECA estimates AFCA to boost intra-African trade by 52.3%. This is expected to drive growth in multiple sectors. But of course, this will require liquidity. Earlier this year as well, we saw the launch of PAPS. Now, this is a linchpin for instant and secure payments across the continent. And we believe that this is also going to spur intra-African trade. Now, please share the following with me, or imagine the following with me, I should say. Imagine a world where our markets, while maintaining their uniqueness and nuances, allows licensed professionals from all over the world to book trades without friction. Imagine again high net worth individuals, along with their fund managers and brokers, having to access opportunities in other parts of Africa to grow and diversify their portfolio. Imagine once again startups with inherent opportunities to scale being able to tap the world of the continent during their IPOs. The false multiplier for revenue growth is incredible. And then finally, imagine a single tool that presents you with improved price discovery for African securities. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the kind of things that excite us and why such a platform exists. To conclude, it is said that necessity is the mother of all invention. And really, if that is the case, and indeed it is, then for our continent, we can imagine that there are innumerable, innovative, sound businesses ready to be birthed. And they are only awaiting the much needed capital to do so. There are others that are waiting for growth spurts, and they need capital to do that as well. We have an opportunity to build the Africa we dream of. Please, I invite you to spread the news, call your broker, speak with your dealer, speak with your fund manager. Let them know you have experienced something innovative and exciting. SecondSTAX, SecondSTAX. A breakthrough that can make us build the Africa we dream of and profit in doing so. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you, Mr. Duke Lati. That was spectacular, and of course, hitting on the SecondSTAX and its partners and how they are connecting the various markets across Africa to build the Africa, of course, as he said in his own words, the Africa that we dream of. Hopefully, that dream is not in the distant future. It is closer than we think. Now, ladies and gentlemen, in the process of this meeting, I'm sure we have burning questions that we would love to be answered. And we have been seeing some popping up online already. So for the next 10 minutes, in connection with the CEO for SecondSTAX, Mr. Eugene Teria, who is in Nairobi, Kenya right now, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to take questions and answers. And we'll start with our counterparts, with our brothers and sisters, and with our partners in Nairobi, Kenya. And then we come to Accra, Ghana. Then we go online for any questions that we will have. So over to you, Mr. Eugene Teria. If there are any questions for the Kenyan counterparts, for the Kenyan audience, from the Kenyan audience, would like to take them.
Thank you very much, Mr. MC. Thanks everybody who has joined us in the room here at the Nairobi Securities Exchange, in Ghana, the Ghana Stock Exchange, and online from wherever you're joining us. As the program was going on, we had a goodwill message from our host in Nairobi, Mr. Jeff Ugundo, and he's here. I will let him come up and say a few words, and then we'll start taking questions from the room. Jeff.
Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Mr. Jeffrey Odundo, the CEO of the NSE, the Nairobi Securities Exchange.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Eugene. Congratulations on this, and thank you, Kestrel, for this great and awesome achievement. I'm sorry I came a bit late, but I promised to come, and here I am. I think this is a milestone for us, both in Kenya and Ghana. We've now built a bridge that will allow us to trade in the stocks in Ghana and Ghana to Nairobi. So I think it just strengthens our union as brothers and sisters across the continent. I was just getting a good message from Diane in the GSC. It's good to know that we can even talk even as we relate here. But I think the milestone for us here today is about how we are progressing, trying to enhance liquidity, trying to enhance how we can allow cross-border trading. And that's really what we've been trying to build, that ability for Africa to trade with Africa. And you've actually done it. As I said, you're really ahead of the race because there's a big idea behind this, but you've already shown the presidents and really demonstrated that that's going to happen. I think on our part, as a community in Kenya, we are so delighted because we believe that if we are able to allow different pools of capital across the continent to find a home, then I think we'll just be baking a bigger cake for the whole continent. And I think that's what we want to achieve. So I want to congratulate Kestrel for taking that initiative and really being trailblazing in this, and for you, SecondSTAX, for making that initiative. I believe a number of other broking firms will be calling on you to deliver on that. And I look forward to how we can continue to collaborate. What we're looking for is liquidity and turnover here, liquidity and turnover in Ghana, and the growth of both markets. So thank you very much, and I wish you all, and God bless you all.
Thank you. Mr. Odundo, thank you very much.
Thank you. So I can take a few questions. We'll start in the room here in Nairobi. Sure.
Thank you, Eugene, and congratulations to the SecondSTAX team on a fantastic launch. My question is on twofold. One, on your rationale in starting with connectivity between Kenya and Ghana, and then how you see your product roadmap evolving. Are you looking to prioritize other markets onto the platform, or are you planning to deepen the offering to move beyond the trading of stocks to potentially fixed income and other securities? Thank you.
Thank you. So to answer the first bit, I think Ghana and Kenya, just being on opposite sides of the continent, served as a good proving ground where you can actually trade across the continent and see it happen, as you saw today earlier on in the demonstration. Both capital markets are close in size in terms of the market cap. And I think in terms of being really drivers for growth in terms of their economies, these served as a place for us to start. In terms of what we see for ourselves in the future, I think it's twofold. We want to continue the geographic expansion because we think we can bring more people around the table. And then also, obviously, as we move past equities and fixed income, we can see more products come up. I think by nature of what we are providing, you now have opportunities to hedge in different currencies. So things like futures and options become realistic. And in the continent like ours, where we have a lot of commodities on the agriculture side, on the mining side, we can now build the capacity where we can trade with each other and really create that market that Africa really deserves. So that is where we are looking to go. And you'll be seeing more updates on that as we go from here. Thank you. Any other questions in the room? Okay, so we can go to Accra, see if they have any questions at the GSE.
All right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, for us here in Accra, we will have we have two microphones to my left and to my right. Of course, for you to your left and to your right. So depending on where you are, you can just make your way to the microphone, the corresponding microphone, and then you ask your question. Mr. Eugene Teria is waiting for it to answer.
Everyone?
Yes,
just want to say a big congratulations to Eugene and the team. It's been very hard work, and we're just so proud of you and what you've done and what you've achieved so far. Two questions for me are, how do you think the regulatory landscape should change in order to sort of allow companies like yours to be able to integrate further into other countries? And then essentially on the FX side, how do you see that playing out long term in terms of these the currency hedges and some of the currency headwinds that we get? How do you expect to manage that? Thanks.
Sure. I can't speak for the regulator, but I think for us, part of how we saw this evolve was really looking at each ecosystem and figuring out what we needed to do so we essentially can play by the rules that exist. I think as a first step, making sure that we use technology to drive the connectivity was our goal, and being able to have you adhere to those regulations within each jurisdiction was quite important, because the regulators are looking at a lot of risk factors. They need to be able to understand how this is evolving and be able to monitor and manage that growth. We think over time, as we build more scale, as we're in more jurisdictions, and like Jeff quite eloquently said, we want Africa to trade with Africa. So at some stage, when we have the scale and there are more jurisdictions on there, then the regulators can get together and start to see where there are common ground. They can kind of agree on how those rules should be. And then I think as we provide more data, as we provide more liquidity, as we provide more price discovery, everybody now gets to build that trust that allows the market to sort of move in its own pace. In terms of FX, I think this has come up in a few different ways. Because each market has a different currency, you obviously have to move funds from one jurisdiction to the other. We are looking at licensed FX brokers in various markets that will help this. As Duke mentioned in his speech, there's a system called PAPS that is being sponsored by the Afri-Exim, and they will effectively give us the real-time transactions for instance, if I'm in Ghana, I need to buy Safaricom, I can give my CDs to my broker and he will have shillings at the executing side to be able to do that. So some of these systems are starting to evolve. We will continue to look at these partnerships and work with them to get there. And I think once we have that critical mass, once we have the brokerage, the asset managers, the licensed institutions that are on the SecondSTAX platform asking for it, a lot of these use cases we see come into reality. I think the key for us, though, to mention is because we are dealing in local currency, we don't see this opportunity of connectivity putting additional pressure on the hard currency that is a cornerstone of some of what we've seen in the FX market. So instead of you going from, for instance, the Ghana cedi to a US dollar, back to a US dollar, and then to shillings, these liquidity providers who can do it with the actual local currencies at least bring off some of that pressure from the central bank. So we are looking at this, and we're looking at those partnerships that will make that possible. Any other questions in the GSE? Otherwise, we can take one from the online audience.
Yes. So Eugene, right now we want to take a question from the online members, participants.
All right, so 2 questions from the online participants. The first one is, how does SecondSTAX create social or environmental impact?
Do you want to give me the second one as well? And I try to hit both of them.
Right, the second one is from Joseph Kwashi. He's asking, how do you fund your account to trade?
All right, so let me answer the second one first. So as we've already intimated, this platform is built for the institutions that operate on the capital market. So call your broker. There are many in the room that we can share some details online as well, so you can reach out to them. They have access to use the platform now, and through their onboarding, KYC, they can make sure that they have you set up properly. You fund in your local jurisdiction. So if you are in Ghana, you fund in cedis there. If you are in Nairobi, you fund in shillings here, and the rest of the process takes over from there in terms of the capabilities of the system. In terms of social impact, I think we see ourselves as really one of those drivers of prosperity across the space. Capital markets everywhere else is a place where you have access to more liquidity, whether it's equity for startups when they're coming up, or a place where if you are a company and you need financing for your operations, you can basically issue a bond and be able to take the proceeds there to work at it. So I think as we have more integration, as we have more folks sitting around the table and trading these markets, now you have access to a lower cost of capital. And I think that hits every single facet of the economies we have. Bank loans become cheaper. You see people now being able to invest on their own. And all of this is made possible by that integration that we are providing through the brokers to the layperson on the street. So that is how we see SecondSTAX really helping here to drive impact across the board on the continent. Any other questions? Otherwise, we can come back to the room here in Nairobi, see if there's any questions here.
Okay. Eugene, is there a question in Nairobi? Because we have 2 questions here in Accra.
Sure, let's take the questions from Accra.
Okay. The MD for GSE has a question.
No, mine is very simple. And I'm looking at integration in West Africa. When are you going to get to Nigeria? And are you thinking of BRVM, the Francophone countries also, so that we can quickly have our integration happen?
Sure. So we are actually actively working with the NGX in Nigeria to test the platform. We are working with the regulators there to review and get the licensing that we need to be able to launch. So that is coming to you very soon. In terms of Francophone Africa, we see them as our next door neighbor. We've already initiated conversations through a licensed dealing member there in the BRVM zone. So that is the one that is coming right afterwards. And to your point, once we have those, we basically have WACMIC. So we will be sharing some announcements on that in the next few months. And we are really thrilled that we have all the support and encouragement from the audience here in in Ghana to really drive forward. So coming soon to a platform near you.
Thank you very much, Eugene. One last question here in Accra, Ghana. Then we head to you in Nairobi, Kenya for any questions, and then we can go online for more questions.
Sure.
Okay, hello, Eugene. We would like to find out if there are plans or the timelines where we will roll out the product to retail investors, given the fact that we've seen retail platforms pick up than the traditional institutional over the past, let's say, 10 years. Thank you.
Sure. So I always imagine us being a force multiplier. A lot of the assets are already held by the financial institutions that participate in the market. So that is where we wanted to start up. We see ourselves as the infrastructure rails that then enable through APIs other business models to run. So for folks that are licensed to operate digital brokers, those apps that you see on your phones, we can use those APIs to effectively onboard you, similar to the way we do for your traditional broker dealers, asset managers, investment firms. And then effectively the retail brokers have a way to be part of this ecosystem. So we are looking at that very soon on our roadmap. I think this is something that we will look to provide to the market next year. So if you leave your details with the folks in the room, we could definitely reach out and let you know, but our website will always be up to date, so you can see progress on our roadmap, and we expect to do many more of these launches as more of these milestones are met. Thank you.
Thank you. Eugene, any questions from the office in Nairobi?
There's a question here? Yes. Okay.
Okay. We have a question.
So first is to congratulate Eugene and the team at SecondSTAX. I think it has been some few years in the making, and the good work and the effort that you have made has really paid off by this launch. So as you look at the African market, and you've said about integrating this whole African market, at what point or what confirmed the need for SecondSTAX for the market or in the African market?
Yes, I mean, I think, quite frankly, the first conversation was with a broker dealer, unlike yourself. We were sitting down and really talking about sort of the structure of the continent. We have 54 countries. Each of them is moving at its own pace. But when you started to look at it in aggregate, there was a lot of growth that you could tap into. Because of that conversation in Accra, the very next thing we did was speak to folks in our network in other countries. And we started to hear that pattern form. If I can go to another market where I have funds, I can sort of invest more, balance the risk in there. And so if all the markets are moving in a decoupled way, then I don't have a lot of concentration risk there. I think we take that and sort of extend it further in thinking things like AFCFTA, the regional blocks that are Francophone West Africa and Central Africa already have this integration. So for us, there were already conversations or processes that were being put in place to have this integration, but we understood the technology. We were able to then sort of deliver a process in terms of SecondSTAX that allowed us to really be the trailblazers in terms of making this happen. We see a lot of other efforts, AELP being one of them, where we can partner to go even faster than we've been at this point. And I think the goal for us is in another 3 to 5 years, have all the large capital markets on the continent connected up, including the smaller regional blocks, and being able to say, if I am sitting in Tanzania, if I'm sitting in Morocco, if I'm sitting in Namibia, if I'm sitting here in Kenya, I can trade the rest of the markets as if I was literally in them. So for us, that is sort of the genesis. There was a need we were filling. And then as we started sort of speaking to other people in other ecosystems and hearing that this was a need that sort of transpired in most places, we were confident that in building SecondSTAX, we actually had something that was valuable, could add a lot of impact to that investment process and really be one of the drivers for growth and integration on the continent. So that has been the journey for us. Yeah, thank you. Mr. MC, I know, go ahead. How are we doing on
we
time?
We have an online question and then one question here in Accra.
Sure.
All right, so from the online audience, Kwesi Nemako wants to know if you see any synergies between AFTCA and SecondSTAX.
Right. So I think AFCFTA, by its nature, is building the largest trading bloc anywhere in the world. And you can't really have trade finance with a fully fledged capital markets ecosystem that supports it. So we see ourselves as sort of one of the drivers to realize the dream of really having one continent, one trading bloc, where the goods and services as well as the capital can all coexist and be connected to all the participants around the way. So for us, again, it was splendid time, and I think AFCFTA got signed up in 2019, 2020. The Secretariat in Accra opened up, and that was really when we also started really working on this in earnest. So we see ourselves as one of the key cogs in the larger AFCFTA process, and we are actually very excited that today we are launching as part of an effort to really bring this dream to reality. Thank you.
Eugene, last question for the question and answer session, and then we can continue with our program.
The question I'd like to ask is, well done on partnering with DataBank and Kestrel, but thinking for other investors, are you planning to roll this out with other stockbrokers in addition to these first two? Thank you.
Thanks for the question. And the answer is a resounding yes. I think part of why we're doing this event is really to announce to the world, to announce to the financial services industry that you now have a new tool in your arsenal that you can use to service your clients well. So we will be looking to engage you folks in the room there in Ghana, folks in the room here, as well as online. We will be reaching out. And our plan is to really now engage each and every one of you to get on board, use the platform, and really achieve that dream, which is SecondSTAX, in terms of bringing all these participants onto the platform and really having that thriving capital markets that we see as we continue to expand geographically as well. So yes, definitely yes. All right. I'll hand it over to Mr. MC. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for taking time and all the lovely questions that you have. If there are questions we haven't answered, the team will take them, especially from the online audience, and we can share on one of our blogs some of the answers there. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. A round of applause, a resounding round of applause to the CEO of SecondSTAX, Mr. Eugene Tiria. All too soon, we have come to the end of this launch. And ladies, gentlemen, distinguished and esteemed invited guests, and of course, to our online participants, all of us here in Accra and all of us present in Nairobi, Kenya, you would agree with me, and there's a general consensus that this program has been one for the history books. It has been a remarkable experience, and we have learned how simple, how easy it can be to buy and sell securities across multiple exchanges in Africa, from one country to the other. Of course, we've started with Ghana and Kenya, but based on the words of our CEO, Mr. Eugene Tiria, we know that very soon we are rolling on to other markets, and we know we can say confidently that that isn't in the future, isn't in the distant future. It is nearer than we can imagine or think. Once again, congratulations to the winners of our quiz, the fastest fingers among over 100 participants who emerged winners. Thank you once again. We would like to thank especially Mr. Akowafedzi, the MD for Ghana Stock Exchange, the CEO of Nairobi Stock Exchange, Mr. Jeffrey Odundo, Mr. Wycliffe Shamia of Capital Markets Authority, Mr. Ama Akoti of Data Bank, and Mr. Francis Imwagi of Kestrel for making time and being here with us, SecondSTAX, as we officially announce to the world that SecondSTAX has come and we are here to stay. This program has lasted for about 90 minutes, give or take, but we know that this product will last for 90 years and another 90 years and another 90 years to come. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, for SecondSTAX. Again, the management of SecondSTAX would like to acknowledge the efforts of their partners, GSE, NSE, Kestrel Capital, and Data Bank for their unceasing and relentless efforts to making this dream a reality. And as the COO for SecondSTAX rightly said, it is not something that they can achieve on their own, but these hands have come together, working in concert to make Africa one. And as he said in his address, to realize that the dream that we want, the dream that we have had for Africa for the longest time. If you have any enquiries or you want more information, you can visit the SecondSTAX website, which is www.secondstax.com. www.secondstax.com. Also, you can call the customer service desk on +233 059 824 1131. +233 059 824 1131. You can also send your questions to questions@secondstax.info. questions@secondstax.info. And would also encourage all of us who are present here, whether online in Kenya, Nairobi, to follow SecondSTAX on their social media platforms, on Twitter and on LinkedIn, using the handle SecondSTAX. 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 Follow SecondSTAX on LinkedIn and Twitter for all the latest updates on their journey. Once again, we'd like to thank you all for coming. And my name is Pakwisi Eninfo from YFM, and I've been the master of ceremonies for this amazing event by the grace of God and under the leadership and the auspices of the SecondSTAX team. We thank you all, ladies and gentlemen. Do have an amazing day.